Today's episode is for you if you want to learn to speak more confidently at work. My name is Lorraine and welcome to this episode. If you haven't done so already, remember to hit subscribe as well as the like button so that more amazing people just like you can learn how to speak more confidently. So as you would be aware, speaking is an important skill. You not only need to speak in your day-to-day interactions with other people, but you need to speak in the workplace. You need to speak when it comes to sharing important ideas. So if you have a cause that you are passionate about, then it's important for you to speak confidently in order to rally people to support that cause. You need to be a confident speaker if you're going for an interview and you need to convince recruiters or amazing companies to actually hire you. Speaking confidently is important when you want to ask for a promotion or negotiate a salary raise. And speaking helps you excel in your role at work. So what tips can you actually start doing in order for you to speak more confidently? The first and most important thing is to know your worth and the value you bring to the table. If you do not know your intrinsic worth as an individual, it's going to come out even in the way you speak, because you look down upon yourself, you doubt yourself, you don't think you have an important opinion to bring, and it comes out in the way that you speak. So really the work starts within. It really starts within. And I think that most of the work is done within before you even start to adjust other things. And we're going to talk about all those amazing things today. But how can you actually know your worth as an individual? I think that it starts with doing the work to understand who you are. And once you understand who you are, no one can take away that knowledge from you. I know for me, a few years ago, I went on this journey, and part of that journey was learning to love myself. And I read Louise Hay's book. It's actually just sitting in front of me. It's called You Can Heal Your Life. And she talks about how most of the problems we have in our lives will go away if we simply learn how to love ourselves. And I truly believe that loving yourself is a big part of knowing your worth. And as you love yourself more, it even shows in the way that you speak, because you're grounded within yourself. You're just confident as a person. You know that your worth is not tied to your achievements. Your worth is not tied to what you do. Your worth is not tied to your job title. Your worth is not tied to whether you got something right or wrong. It's not tied to whether you're a human and you make mistakes. You just know that you're worthy simply by being and by existing. So I really want to encourage you to start doing that work of knowing your worth as a woman, knowing your worth as a man, because I know men watch these videos as well. Knowing your worth as a person and being grounded in that sense of self-worth, because then it translates even into your communication skills. I would argue that knowing your self-worth is probably the biggest, it's probably 80% of the work when it comes to speaking confidently. Number 2 is prepare. Be that person. If you know there's a presentation to be made or you have a contribution to make in a meeting, definitely prepare. Read ahead, prepare your facts, and be ready for the unknown, because if you're making a presentation, there might be follow-up questions after that, but preparation takes away the anxiety, because usually fear and anxiety comes from not knowing or being unsure how the situation is going to unfold, and preparation will take away that anxiety and that fear. The third thing to help you speak confidently is maintain eye contact and use meaningful hand gestures. I don't even know if I should be the one telling you guys about hand gestures, because I use my hands a lot. my hands are always moving. I talk with my hands, right? But a part of something that I remind myself is, even if I talk with my hands, I try to be intentional and not overdo it. Like, I've seen that if I'm passionate about something, then my hands are everywhere, you know. And if you're trying to speak confidently, this might even make you nervous. So use meaningful hand gestures instead of just standing like that, because that will definitely show that, you know, you're nervous. But when you're using meaningful hand gestures, it communicates a level of confidence. It says you're engaged, you're present, you're passionate about what you're talking about. I've seen that if I'm talking about something that I'm not passionate about, I probably do not move my hands a lot because I'm not engaged in it. Maintaining that eye contact as well really helps. I know there's an episode of Young Sheldon in Friends. So I love Young Sheldon, and he's making a commencement speech at his college or school or something, and he chooses one person because he knows that he struggles with public speaking and he's afraid of making a commencement speech. So he decides to fixate his eyes on one person, who is Missy, his twin sister, and then it works wonders, because when you just pick one person, look at that one person, maintain eye contact with that person, especially if it's maybe your work bestie, a supportive peer, it helps you be more confident even as you speak. So be aware of the gestures that you can use as you speak, maintain that eye contact. It really conveys the message that you're confident. The fourth thing is pause and breathe in order to articulate your thoughts. When you are speaking in front of people, the temptation is to just keep on talking, not pause, not breathe, because you're feeling anxious. But it's important to train yourself to actually just stop, take a breath, and then continue going. This will enable you to articulate your thoughts so that you're not sounding confused, you're not mumbling over your words, and as a result, you appear more confident. I know for certain in some of these videos that I do, I speak so fast, I don't stop for breath. And then I'll have my editor say, Lorraine, it's important for you to stop. It's okay for you to stop and breathe. You don't have to fill every minute, every second with the word. The fifth thing is lower your pitch, but not too low. So you don't want to speak like, oh guys, here are the tips for you to sound confident when you speak. You don't want to sound low vibe, low strength, because that people mirror you, or they mirror your communication. I think even now when I've been talking like that, you're thinking, oh my gosh, like your energy is even lowering as well. So, you know, lower your pitch, but not too low. You don't want to speak too loud. Other people go the other way. And you know what? You've met people who are very confident in themselves and they speak loudly. And yeah, I know I've done that in the past, but it's just not a good feeling for the people who are listening. So you don't need to assault people's ears with a very high pitch, but at the same time, don't make it too slow or too low that people fall asleep. Just have a healthy tempo going. Number 6 is very important. So cultivate the habit of speaking up in informal work conversations. People think that you cultivate confidence in speaking when you have a presentation to make or you have to chair the meeting, but you can actually start small by getting into the habit of contributing to the conversation. This might be an informal stuff from discussion at lunchtime. Speak up and contribute to the conversation. This might be a handover, morning meeting. Speak up and voice your opinion in that meeting. Start small. Be that person who has a meaningful contribution to make. The more you hear yourself say things out loud, the more you're like, oh my goodness, I'm actually good at speaking, and your confidence builds up over time. Number 7 is maintain a positive body language. People mirror you. So I know for one, it's this one, right? And, folding your arms like this can mean different things to different people. For me, if someone has their arms like this, when I'm talking to them, to me, it says they're shutting you out, they're not open, and maybe they're not even shutting you out, they're protecting themselves. So if you're like, oh guys, I just want to present to you the results of the last quarter, the project that we did, people are not going to open up to you because you've closed yourself up to them. So be aware of your body language and try to keep your body language and posture open. I know for me, when I'm communicating with people, I always try and assume an open posture. Even on these videos, I try and make sure that I'm welcoming you into my world. Like now, me just talking to you, you have no doubt that I'm welcoming you into my world, and you probably gravitated towards me because of the open body language that I'm displaying. So it's important that you display positive and open body language. Avoid frowning when you're speaking to people, because then they start frowning back as well. Try and smile if it's appropriate. Of course, if you're saying something that is negative and dire, you're not going to smile. But if it doesn't cost the earth, just smile, as you speak. Because I find that smiling helps me feel good, and then it helps me feel more relaxed, and it helps other people feel good, and they feel relaxed, and they're more open to your ideas and suggestions, because now you're making them feel happy just by looking at you and mirroring the happiness that is on your face. Number 8 is become an active listener. Nod, ask questions when other people are speaking, because listening to other people's opinions will help you build your own, and it helps you to articulate your ideas. It makes you look smarter than how you actually feel, because you are learning from the wisdom of so many people. I have found that people who do not take time to listen to other people, sometimes they limit themselves in terms of their growth and the level of wisdom they display because they're not listening. But be that person who actively listens to other people. So let's say you're working on an important project and people have contributions to make. Definitely listen to them, take some notes, take them on board, so that when you're speaking, you're telling people that I'm actually listening, I value your opinion, and as a result, people are more open and receptive to what you're saying, and it helps you become more confident in the way that you speak to people. Number 9 is ask for and embrace feedback. So you can actually ask your coworker and say, how did I go on the presentation this morning? What was my contribution like during the meeting? Is there any way that I can improve? Do not be afraid of feedback. Feedback is so important when it comes to your personal growth, professional growth. Feedback is such an important thing. Be open to it. Don't be that person who runs away or who shies away from seeking feedback, because I tend to find that people who advance quicker are people who are open to feedback. So make feedback your friend. And then lastly, embrace a growth mindset when it comes to becoming a more confident speaker. Let's say you did a presentation this morning, you were stuttering over your words, you stumbled over your sentences, you could not articulate what it is you were trying to say. People looked confused, and some of them were even looking at you like, what? So if that was your experience, instead of you giving up and saying, I will never do a presentation again, I will never chair a meeting, I will never speak up about my ideas. No, embrace a growth mindset. Take that as feedback. Write down all the negative things, all the things that went wrong. So stuttering, stumbled over my words, forgot what I wanted to say, closed body posture, people were not listening. Tom was even dozing off during that presentation, and then he started snoring, and now everyone could tell that I was boring, right? And then write down the positives. The positives is I prepared last night. I took the time to prepare. The second thing is I said yes to doing the presentation. The third thing is I showed up. The fourth thing is I'm willing to evaluate my own performance. There are lots of positives in this scenario, and maybe sometimes the positives even outweigh the negatives if you really look carefully. So be that person who embraces a growth mindset. Don't be afraid of failing and making mistakes. Don't be afraid of falling flat on your face. I found that in my life, people say to me a lot, Lorraine, you're such a confident speaker. And I just look at them in surprise. I'm like, no, I work on it. And I've had to work on it. And the same goes even when creating videos like this and speaking in front of people, because so many people watch my videos and listen to me. As a result, I know sometimes when I sit in front of the camera, I'm like, oh. I get nervous as well, and my voice starts to shake and that sort of thing. So I want you to know that even other people who look as if they're confident are working on it, or they have worked on it. And the more you work on it, the better you get. So always have a growth mindset. Don't give up on yourself. If you are in a position where you've been trying to speak more confidently and you feel like you've been failing and you're like, Lorraine, I feel like giving up, then I just want to encourage you. Don't give up. I'm proud of you that you are trying. I'm proud of you for the effort that you're making. I'm proud of you that you're showing up in order to grow yourself as an individual and in order to share your ideas, because speech is a powerful mode. It inspires change. It's how people run countries. Imagine, think of Obama, for example. I'm sure he had, he's a very intelligent man. He was running the country, blah, blah, blah. But part of his appeal was the way he spoke. And the same goes for you. So don't give up in your journey of becoming a more confident speaker. Be gentle, be passionate, be gentle, be compassionate with yourself. Even if it doesn't go well today, try again tomorrow, try again the next day. Do not give up on yourself, because having a growth mindset, the one that sees yourself as a person who is on the process of growing and improving, it's so important. It's so important to your growth. It's so important to your career. And I am rooting for you. Thank you so much for watching. So let me know in the comments, are you a confident speaker? Yes or no? And tell me one thing you're really good at when it comes to speaking. If you feel like you're not good at speaking, then tell me what you're going to start doing. So what was your biggest takeaway from this video? I'd really, really love to know. And can I just ask you for a favor before you go? Can you share this video with someone who needs to hear this message? So just grab your phone, grab your computer, hit the share button and share this with somebody who needs to hear this. My name is Lorraine Dzeka. It was such a pleasure just hanging out with you today and sharing these amazing tips with you, and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. If you want more videos like this, then definitely go in the description. I have put a few links to other related videos, and I want you to go ahead and watch those.